I'm for term limits for Supreme Court justices. I'm for statehood for D.C. and for Puerto Rico. I'm not for expanding the size of the Supreme Court because I think that's just an arms race. And then when the Republicans are in control, they'll do the same thing. So I think that stuff ultimately doesn't make sense. One of the things I'm for, in addition to national service, which I think is a very different kind of national program to get at our unity and our sense of common purpose. But one of the things I'm for, which is a little different, is I think the president, hopefully me, will debate the Congress once every 3 months. So for 3 hours on national television, every 3 months, have a debate with the U.S. Congress. First of all, I think a president ought to be able to do it, just as the threshold matter. But secondly, I just think it would be amazing for the American people. So we'd pick, the first hour and a half would be one issue: healthcare, foreign policy, climate change, and we'd go back and forth. Probably 10 questions back and forth for an hour and a half. That would be extraordinary for the American people to see that. They would figure out who's telling the truth. Question, and then the second half would be question time, which would be the Wild West, right? Because that's when you as the president would get all kinds of strange questions. But that's okay. You ought to be able to do that too. Because I think what's going on in politics right now is the truth, which we all know the truth is the truth, but it's become elusive in politics, right? Part of it, no disrespect, is that 60% of the American people get their news from social media. And we all know social media is not journalism. It plays an incredibly valuable role in our society in terms of connecting people, right, and informing them and educating them, but it doesn't have the scrub of journalism. And we got to get the American people back to this notion of you should engage in your social media, but there also should be some trusted places you go to where you get your information. And the American people are having a little bit of a hard time with that transition right now. So I think what politicians need to do is to be more out in the open. Actually, think of it like the town square, having old-fashioned Lincoln-style debates in front of the American people. And I think a president should lead by example, should set the right tone at the top. And I think a president should go out there and say, I want to debate the Congress once a quarter. Because I think the American people who have a huge issue with healthcare, they have a huge issue with drug prices. I think climate change is a huge issue. I see all these small communities kind of being drained of their talent because of the concentration of wealth and power in a small number of big cities. I think these are things we should talk about in front of the American people. And I think the American people should hear what I think about it. I think they should see my ideas being critiqued by the other side or even by my own side. And I think we should have a back and forth because I kind of trust the American people to figure out at the end of the day, A, who's telling the truth, B, who's got the best approach. But they can't do that unless they have an on-the-level back and forth debate. So that's a different idea I have.